Hey, welcome back to the show. It's Ken Dunn, and I'm here today to talk to you about a new book. It's called Asia's New Wings, The Untold Story of a Child Lost on 9/11. It's a touching story, and today I'm joined in the studio with the authors of this book, Clifton and Michelle Cottom. And where this is a little bit different than our regular format is they're also the parents of a young girl who was tragically killed on Flight 77 during 9/11. First of all, thank you guys for joining me in the studio today. Let's start right at the beginning. So we have this wonderful young woman named Asia Cottom. Tell us a little bit about your daughter.
Asia was an 11-year-old student. She was born and raised in Washington, D.C. She was attending a school trip. She had won an essay contest for National Geographic, and she was going to Santa Barbara, California to perform sea exploration in Santa Barbara, California. She was going to swim with the dolphins, whitewater rafting, and she was going to learn about whales, the sounds of whales.
So she was 11 years old at the time?
Yes.
And she had won this National Geographic award.
Yes.
And obviously she must have been doing okay in school then. She must have been a bit scholarly.
A bit, yes. Yes.
When was she born? Tell us a little bit about the early days and what she was like as a young girl.
Active, very active. Outdoor, love outdoor. Finish her homework, she drags her brother. He didn't have to be finished with his homework. As long as she was finished with hers, she'd come to you, throw the paper in your face, like, I'm done. We going outside.
So even in her preteens and her early years, you knew she was going to be a leader at one point in her life.
Yes.
Very much. Very much.
Yes.
I guess she must have been pretty excited to find out that she won this award and she was on her way to Santa Barbara.
Yes, very much.
And how long before the actual trip did she know about it? And what was going on in your life with her leading up to that day? Lots of excitement, lots of preparation?
I was actually out of town when I found out that she had won this award. So I was on travel for work, and she called me and was like, "Mommy, I won this award. I get to go to California to swim with the dolphins." That's what because she swam like a fish. So she just talked about she was swimming. She was going to go swim with the fish. And I was like, "What are you talking about?" So I didn't really realize that she had been involved in an essay contest because she actually attended a summer program at my husband's school, and that's when the essay contest actually took place. And they announced the winners that early part of the year because we were maybe 3 weeks into the school year.
The second week of August.
So it would have been the trip of a lifetime for her.
Yeah, it was definitely a trip of a lifetime.
Tell us about that morning. I can imagine a young 11-year-old girl going to swim with the dolphins, excited. Was she up early that day?
She didn't go to sleep.
Oh, no.
She stayed up all night long.
And she had got her hair braided. She wanted to get her hair braided. So that day we had went to Walmart. We had to get all of these. She couldn't, waterproof things. She couldn't take jewelry. We had to pack a suitcase that was waterproof. So we were running all over the city, getting all her belongings together. So she didn't get her hair braided until late. And I think she probably, if she went to sleep at all, it was probably about 1:00 in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
And she was the first one up.
What time did she have to be at the airport that day?
We had to be up there. We had to be there by 7.
Wow. And of course, in the introduction, we talked about it. She was on Flight 77.
Right.
Yes.
And you lost her that day.
Yes.
Tell us about the experience, how you found out about it, what happened after
Well, when I dropped her off, got my last kiss till I said when she get back. As I was coming back, I was just listening to Tom Joyner, and then all of a sudden, it broke in the news that a plane hit the Twin Towers. And as he was talking, he said there's a second plane just hit the other Twin Tower. So, and I'm still getting back, trying to get through this Virginia traffic. So I'm on my way, heading back. I finally when I got to the school, they made an announcement that the plane, Flight 77, well, I didn't know it was 77 at first, that it hit the Pentagon. And right there, Don't know how. Just me and God know about this. I just felt something. I told Stacy and a young man named Benson, hey, my daughter was on that plane. That was my daughter's plane, and they kept looking at me like I was crazy. I said, my daughter was on the plane. At that time, the school was so in the uproar. We tried to put all the kids in the auditorium. So I'm still doing, because I'm a faculty member at the school, so I'm doing my job, putting the kids in the auditorium, getting everything. And I tried to call my wife, couldn't get through. I called on my cell phone, tried to call her cell phone, no answer, couldn't get, everything was a busy signal. I called on the school phone, tried to call her job, still a busy signal. So we didn't really get no touch with each other until she got home.
So how did you find out about it that day?
I was actually at work on a conference call, and the TV was on in one of the conference rooms, and I could see the news coming in. And they were showing the planes hitting the Pentagon. So my coworkers came in, and everybody just started talking about it. And I was saying to the attorney that I was speaking to on the phone, I said, "Wait a minute, my daughter's somewhere on a plane." So then I started trying to call my husband at the school. I work in Washington, D.C. By this time, they had started to evacuate the city. So mass hysteria because they let all the federal government workers go and everybody, people running in the streets. I actually rode the train that day. So I was, by the time I finally got on a train, um, most of the train is underground. And then when the train came above ground, I happened to be sitting in a seat that was facing backwards. And I could see Virginia and I could see smoke coming from that direction. And I still didn't know that a plane had hit the Pentagon. At that point, the news station that I was watching said that there was a plane missing. It just kept saying it was a plane missing, a plane missing. So when I finally got home, the events are somewhat still a little foggy. I'm not sure what came first, but I know we kept finding out that the plane was missing. And I eventually, nobody from the school, my husband wouldn't tell me. I, I guess he knew then, but I didn't know. His principal, nobody could remember the flight number. They couldn't remember what time the plane took off, any of that. So I called the hotel where the children were supposed to land, and the people in Santa Barbara told me that they had not reached their destination. And that's when I realized that it was her plane that was missing. And I don't even really remember how I actually found out that it was Flight 77. I really don't even remember specifically when or how I found out, but I remember at some point during the day, they announced that 77 hit the Pentagon. But I still didn't know what her flight number was.
National Geographic confirmed it. They called us first.
Okay.
They called us first, and I talked to them, and they were saying that was her plane that hit the Pentagon.
What firstly, this is easily the most difficult conversation I've ever had to have in an interview, and I would be remiss if I didn't tell you guys how proud I am that you're even doing this and having this conversation 13 years later. And there's a reason for it. There's a book now that you're putting out, and it's called Asia's New Wings, An Untold Story of a Child Lost on 9/11. And it's a fascinating story, but there's a reason for this book and why you've decided to become authors. Why don't you share with everybody why you're doing this?
We started a memorial scholarship foundation relatively soon after Asia perished in 9/11, because the country, people just all around the world actually started to send us monetary donations as expressions of love and just, wanting to do something for our family. And I can recall...
Like a lot of them?
Oh, just like I said, I can recall sitting on my couch, and the mail person would come in and just dump bags of mail in my chair. Just bags and bags of mail.
Wow.
And this went on for weeks. Just bags and bags
So
of
you're a
mail.
grieving mother. You've lost your only baby girl in a tragedy that none of us will really understand. And now you're being inundated from all over the world with people trying to reach out and tell you they love you.
Mm-hmm.
How did that feel?
I have to admit that the first 6 months of 9/11 are almost like a blur in my mind. I was blessed with, or we are blessed with, so many good family and friends because people would open the mail for me. And I don't even think we knew for probably a couple weeks that there was cash in all these letters. I mean, we would get anywhere from 2 cents to $2 and $3, $4, $5, $6,000. Children would send us just coins. People from Australia, we got mail from Hawaii, Germany, and people just wanted to do something. So one of my very good friends, Nicole Green, she said to me, I was talking to her, she was opening the mail, and she was saying, Michelle, look at these checks. She said, these are all checks. And then she started to show me some of the mail that she had been opening. And I said, well, my God, what do I do with this? What do we do with this? I don't know what to, none of this is going to, bring her back. And she said, well, why don't you open up a scholarship foundation in her honor and send kids to school? And I talked to my husband about it, and we asked Nicole to be the director of the foundation and to find out everything that we needed to do. And that's how we pretty much turned the tragedy of her death into triumph by sending other kids to school because we couldn't send Asia to school.
Well, for one, I think the idea that you've put together this beautiful book, part in commemoration, but also part to let the world know and to keep a memory of your daughter alive, and as a fundraising effort for an incredible movement that you're a part of. I think it's admirable. To all of our audience, Asia's New Wings is not a story of unbroken or broken dreams and tragedies. It really is the untold story of a young girl that was lost on 9/11. But buried deep inside this book is the inspiration that you'll need to deal with adversities in any part of your life. It definitely is a book that needs to be part of anybody's library who dreams for more or wants more. Thanks for joining us on the show.